everybody. We're super excited to be here today. Thank you all for being here. You are listening to 1160 AM The Quest, Atlanta's Catholic radio. And today we have Eli, we have Tahir, and we have Savannah with us. So thanks for coming out, guys. Should be a lot of fun.
Thank you for having us.
Well, let's start today with a prayer, and just for fun, nose goes. That's Tahir. Tahir gets to pray.
Okay, well, I'm going to be very basic and very Byzantine at the same time.
That's killer. Just do it.
Just say the prayer to the Holy Spirit. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O heavenly King, Comforter, Spirit of truth, everywhere present and filling all things, treasury of blessings and giver of life, come and dwell within us, cleanse us of all stain, and save our souls, O gracious one. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit.
I'm going to be really basic and simple, and here's this beautiful Eastern rite. That was killer. Yeah, that was way better than the on-the-spot Hail Marys, and we love the Hail Marys, but that was top notch. So I'm glad you brought that up. You're Byzantine?
So I canonically actually belong to the Latin Church still. I converted in my third year of college. I was in school at Georgia Tech, and the Catholic Center over there is phenomenal.
Were you there with Father Josh Allen?
Father Josh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, he was one who baptized and chrismated me.
Amazing. Yeah.
And he's an awesome guy. I miss him. But so I converted there and graduated from college. Unexpected change of events. I realized, hey, I got to get a job now. So I really quickly found a job. It was over in Peachtree Corners, and I realized, hey, I got to settle at a parish. So I was looking at either going to the FSSP parish over there in Mapleton, also very great. I have at least one friend over there and one or two friends who used to go there, and it's great. And then I'm like, hey, I've been wanting to check out the Byzantine Church for a while now, and I don't have to go risk my life driving west on 285 after work.
That's fair, yeah.
I'm more likely to go on weekdays if I go that route. So when I checked it out, I was kind of hesitant, honestly. At first, I was okay, I want a good parish to settle down in, but then I also didn't want to have to relearn my faith if I essentially if I knew I was going to be settling down there. But I talked to my spiritual director about it, and he said, hey, I've known a lot of people who've made the jump, and they've benefited greatly. And sure enough, I realized it's in the Latin Church, I was with a very good uncle, and then coming to a Byzantine parish, I was like, okay, I'm home with mom and dad now.
Oh, great.
Is
cool.
Kind of how it felt.
No, absolutely. And for anybody who's listening and isn't aware, the Byzantine Rite is an Eastern Rite Catholic Church. They're just as Catholic as the Roman Rite, right? They're same Pope and all of that, different liturgy. Yeah. We got to clear that up sometimes. Big shout out to Father Lewis over there. This episode is brought to you by giving infants the Eucharist. There you go. We went one time and I had to cover a baby's mouth. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. We're not there yet. But it's great. I love what you're doing. So that's fantastic. So normally when we start this off, we'll count that. That was a great intro. That was a killer intro. We normally do 5 things. I don't know if you've been prepped on 5 things. You got to give us 5 fast facts. They can be boring, but they shouldn't be, or we'll judge you. We can start with Eli though.
All right, cool.
You got your 5 things?
Sure.
All right.
I go Franciscan in Steubenville, Ohio.
Heck yeah.
I hate Steubenville, Ohio, the city,
because
so I hate
everyone.
the cold.
Yeah, you leave Franciscan University and the city literally and metaphorically all goes downhill.
Yes, literally goes downhill. Let's see. I'm a converted from Anglicanism. I need 2 more. I play lacrosse up there, and
Are you in a household at Franciscan?
Yes, I am.
There you go.
So there we go.
What is it? You got to give them a shout out.
SOS Servants of the Savior.
Nice.
There's not a single person or alumni down here, so
That's all right,
but
man.
there we go.
So I was a Franciscan graduate actually, 2010.
What were you in?
Yeah,
Were you in
I was
one?
not in a household.
Okay.
No.
Well, yes.
I was. They saved me. I was able to graduate on time after Southern Catholic College up in Dawsonville closed down.
Okay.
And I was engaged. I had a job lined up, and Franciscans swooped in. They took all my credits. I finished in a semester, but I spent it up there. So
okay. Well, if you saw anyone wearing weird jumpsuits who looked weird and emo, it was that household. So
Killer. All right, I like it. And then Savannah. We've got you. Did you have time? Did you come up with 5?
Yeah, sure. We'll find some.
Tahir can help. He's allowed to help.
I was about to say I could probably name 5 things.
Yeah, you probably could. You know me better than I know myself. I'm from St. Simon's Island, Georgia. A lot of people don't know there's an island in Georgia.
Frederica, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just down there.
Oh, we're going down there this weekend.
I've got an uncle who lives there. Yeah.
Okay. I got pregnant in our honeymoon.
Congratulations. That's wonderful.
It's a big one.
Which was how long ago? Sorry.
What?
2 months minus 1 week.
That's so great. Oh, yeah. So you said today's your 2nd anniversary, right?
Yeah.
You can't count that because I used that fact for you.
Okay, this is just a random one. My 2 front teeth are fake. I broke them out when I was in 5th grade on a motor scooter.
If I promise not to ask you to do it, could you take them out right now if you wanted to?
I can't take them out, but
man.
I have.
Because I would have asked you to do it.
No, I totally would have.
Okay.
No, they're stuck. That's 3. I have a dog that I miss really badly, and I can't have her with us.
Why? Like an apartment deal?
We're in an apartment right now, but we just got a house, and they don't allow dogs. So
That and your dad wouldn't survive without that dog.
Wouldn't survive
Okay.
Also, and
Tahir, come in clutch. Come on.
help
5th
me.
one. You got it.
So,
interesting about me.
my wife started inquiring about becoming Catholic. She's a
I'm
convert
a convert.
she was a Methodist
Cool.
before.
My mom was Methodist. They're good people. Shout out to the
They
Methodists. They're not
are.
Good
quite
Southern
there,
people.
but we appreciate it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not normal that a Protestant will on how many dates had we had before you decide to go to an all-night vigil for a feast of the Mother of God?
Yeah.
It's okay. You just met a month ago.
Like he said, there's no looking back.
Well, Tahir is incredibly handsome. I'm sure that had something to do with
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I mean, if you got to if you got to go to an all-night vigil and you don't know what it's about, you might as well go with
You're
Tahir.
gonna go with him, yeah. Well, there's another thing. He saved me on my way home after our first date. I had a wreck on 285, and he was the one that picked me up, and I think that sealed the deal.
Wait, that was after the date? Like the date's over, and then you get in a wreck, and
so we had it was like all in all, it was a little over 13 hours our first date. So we meet up at a Greek restaurant for lunch. We go there, went to my apartment. We spent the afternoon watching Lord of the Rings. We go
so far it's the best date you could possibly have. Okay.
Then we went to a Vesperal Divine Liturgy.
Did you watch the whole trilogy?
Oh, no.
Okay.
It was at least extended editions.
Okay.
There's at least that, but we didn't make it all the way through Fellowship.
Okay.
So we go to a Vesperal Divine Liturgy, and that weekend, it's funny. So the week after that, the Tuesday after, it was on a Saturday, our first date. The Tuesday after that was the Feast of the Prophet Elijah, where in the Byzantine tradition, we bless cars and other vehicles.
Sure.
But we carpooled, and I either totally forgot about it or I don't know. But so we go there, and Father is blessing cars after the liturgies that weekend because we don't normally have services on Tuesdays. The feast was on a Tuesday, so he says, "Hey, the weekend before, I'll bless the cars."
And Savannah's still a Methodist, right?
Yeah.
When she shows
So
up. Okay.
we get my car blessed. We go back, and then we have dinner together, whatever. And okay, it's time to go home. She leaves, and I'm normally in bed by like 8 p.m. Yeah. But for whatever reason, we're having a great time. Whatever, it's like 12:30 a.m. She leaves, and for some reason, instead of normally just going straight to bed like I would, I happen to stay awake, and I get a call like, "Hey, in my non-blessed car, I just spun out on the interstate, and I don't know why I'm calling you, but like I need somebody to pick me up on the side of the road." So sure enough, I didn't quite know that I was going to marry her right on the first day, but I knew she was different, not just. Like everybody says, "Oh, I'm not like other guys," or "I'm not like other girls," but I knew she wasn't like other.
And you had a lot of confidence in Father Lewis's priestly power to like.
I knew my car wasn't going to spin out.
Right. That's awesome. That's that's really good. So Eli, you're about to get married.
Yes.
Right. As opposed to Tahir and Savannah, who have been married for 2 months. When's the wedding?
Beginning of January.
Beginning of January. Nice.
Yeah.
Winter wedding.
Winter.
I appreciate that.
It's
Why?
cheap.
Why is it in January?
It's cheap, and she'll be she graduates before me, so which is my fault, but she graduates before me, so that's just what worked out really. There's nothing special to it. I said I hate the cold as a fact. I do. So there's not like this, oh, I want to do it outdoors in the snow because we're in Georgia. So
fun fact about my wedding, and I'm still kind of salty about this 11 years later. My wife and I got engaged, and we wanted to be married as soon as possible, right? And I didn't care about the April wedding. I didn't care about the weather. I didn't care about the flowers or the pictures. We just wanted to get married. We were getting married in Maryland, and I wanted to do a February wedding. We were like, we're totally going to do a February wedding. My father-in-law pulls me aside, and I was still in college at this point. My wife had graduated, and he says, hey, I really, you're going to be out of school for like 6 weeks before the wedding. Let's push it back. We'll do April. It'll be nicer for pictures, but more importantly, that'll give you more time to get established, make sure you got a job and a place lined up before I, give my daughter over to you. And I was not happy with this, but I said, okay, he's my father-in-law. He can still call the shots like that. So I graduate from college. February comes. I have a full-time job. I'm sitting in an empty house alone for months. Just like so frustrated. It worked out fine. It was great. But I should be married right now for a couple months longer than I am. So I'm a little frustrated. But
that's slightly what I'm avoiding.
What's that?
That's slightly what I'm avoiding.
Yeah, no, it'll there's just nothing. I mean, there's no reason, I don't think, to delay when you're married. What's 100%. The point? Everything gets harder, I think, during the engagement period, like everything. And I mean, a lot of people will talk about like chastity. Obviously that's a difficult thing when it's 5 weeks out and you're just kind of looking at each other and like, let's watch another Lord of the Rings again. But I'm all about just doing it, quit pushing it off forever. So this is not normally the format, but I think it's interesting because of the dynamic that we have here. Tahir and Savannah, if you could give any advice to Eli, who is T-minus how many months?
I don't know. January.
Yeah. So
I'm bad at math.
So not too far away, right? 6 months, 7 months, or 5 months, 4 months. 4. Not a long way away from getting married. As someone with the vast experience of 60 some odd days of being in holy matrimony, what advice would you give Eli?
Die to yourself.
Can you flesh that out? Yeah.
I don't know if I really can, but of course I can.
Understand.
Well, yeah, it's like in principle. I mean, well, one of the interesting things about like having now, granted, we were very blessed in that during our engagement, we only lived about 15 minutes apart.
Right.
So we could spend more time together compared to like our first few months of dating when we were 5 hours apart. But after getting married and like, okay, living in the same place, I don't know how to expand upon it, but you start realizing you're actually a little more sinful than you really think you are.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's a little thing.
Super selfish.
Put the toilet seat down.
That or don't squeeze the rubber chicken at 5 a.m. when I'm trying to...
Were you living by yourself before you got married?
Yeah.
And were you living by yourself before you got married?
I was living with my parents and I moved up here.
Okay.
And then I got a roommate. So, but I mean, we were basically together. Like we would cook dinner and do everything kind of together.
So I remember when we got married, and you get so excited, and as a guy, you're really, I mean, as anybody, but you're excited about the sex part, right? That's great. That's a huge bonus. But I remember what was way cooler than that. I thought that during the honeymoon, and then and for I don't know, a couple of years after, I still think it's cool sometimes. I just have to remind myself what a neat thing this is. After dating, and we did long distance too, we were about 5 hours apart. I was in Ohio, she was in Maryland, seeing each other every weekend, and she was working full time, I was in school full time, was when you got to say goodnight, you just got in bed together. There was no like, good night, I'll call you when you get home, and I hope you're safe, and whatever. It was so amazingly cool to me.
It is very nice. It's like, oh, I get to wake up to you, and I get to go to bed with you. But speaking about the advice, I told you before, don't delay it because it just sucks. But also, I don't know, you're probably not in charge of this. It's more like the ladies that really care about all the details. But trying to do tables if you're having a seated dinner is awful. So do a buffet if you can. It's probably cheaper.
Oh, at the wedding itself, I was trying to figure that out. Like, you guys don't eat it at your table? It's a Byzantine thing. We do it on the floor. We recline around the coffee table. And somebody gave some great advice on a recent show we did that was the wedding it's great and it's important and it's going to be this wonderful day, but invest in your relationship, not just in this big party you're going to have. Like, you're going to have this beautiful liturgy. You're going to have mass together. That's what's important. All the party and the food and the DJ and the venue, it's important, but it's like level 40 down, right on the priority list. So, that's good. Do you have any questions, Eli, for them? I like this. This is exciting. I just get to ask people to ask questions instead of asking questions on this show.
I'm not trying to make y'all fight or anything, but what was the most difficult like transition for y'all?
Yeah, biggest challenge.
I was really worried that I wouldn't have any alone time because I'm definitely an introvert when it comes to like when I need to recharge, I need to be alone. So I was worried about that. Sometimes it is a little rough because we only have one bedroom right now. So I can't really get away from it. But I'm not mad right now.
Is it like a 1-bedroom apartment kind of deal?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did that. We rocked like a 900 square foot 1-bedroom apartment. It was killer.
Well, now that I'm pregnant, I was cooking like ground beef or something, and that's never been a problem for me. And I had to go into the bedroom and close the door. I couldn't even be
the smell
anywhere. It was so bad. Yeah. It's like,
our Boston Terrier disgusted my wife. I remember that when she was pregnant with our oldest. This was 10, 11 years ago. And she loved this dog. Like, this dog was around before I was around. And she was like, I don't want to look at him. He reminds me of the smell that he had. He's just all like, baby, there's literally nothing different about this cute little dog we have running around the house. Yeah. It was fun.
Smells, man.
Savannah, what would you say? Eli, what's your fiance's name?
Katie Rose.
What is it?
Katie Rose.
Katie Rose. What would you say if Katie Rose were sitting right here and you had to give some advice from the bride's perspective?
Well, like I said,
not about the dinner setup at the wedding.
Okay, but just that is going to be a really big thing if y'all are having, dinner or a whole shebang or whatever. That was a really big thing during our engagement that we were focusing on, and I wish that we had done something smaller, maybe in hindsight. But yeah, that's just.
We spent like $20,000 on the wedding, and I'm still wondering like what. And that was a lot of money for us, and it was great. It was really good. It was beautiful. I mean, we cut corners where we could. Our reception was in a elementary school gym, but still, it was like, why did we need to do all of this? We would have had, my sister-in-law got married during COVID. Her wedding reception, which was illegal, right? It wasn't allowed then, was in an Airbnb, like in the living room. And it was the best thing ever. We literally just had like a CD player for the songs and recorded the first dance and everything. It was
that's so
awesome.
Fun.
So
that is awesome.
Don't overthink it in a big way.
Just be there for her, because it's going to be a lot different on her than it is for you. I know, like, you weren't really stressed and getting everything ready and just like being engaged.
Your mom was more excited about the wedding planning than we were.
Yeah, that was a lot. I mean, because we did it really fast. Yeah. So.
How long were you dating before you got engaged?
Can I do that? So we met each other at the towards the end of, it was July 17th, I believe was our first date, and we got engaged October 30th.
Nice.
And I knew I was going to marry him before I met him.
So nobody said that. I've been talking to a lot of married couples recently, and nobody said I knew before I met him. What does that mean?
So we met on a dating app, and he had something on his profile about divine liturgy.
Do you want to give a shout out to the dating app? You don't have to.
Oh yeah. What is it?
Hinge.
Hinge, the app designed to be deleted.
Oh, nice. It's a good slogan. I like that.
It is a good slogan. I didn't believe it, but it did work. But yeah, I had seen his profile, whatever. We had FaceTimed like 2 hours each time, maybe like twice before I decided to go up there. And I told one of my friends, I was like, I think this guy might be it.
That's cool. To hear, did you feel the same way? You did not.
But it wasn't
Who's
right away.
Who's this Methodist girl who's driving up here to see me?
It wasn't right away, but it didn't take very long. It was like the second date. When we went to Tybee Island, how long?
It was like maybe 2 weeks after.
So were there a lot of, I mean, I assume when you get married that quickly, there's you sort of go through those stages really quickly of finding out the important stuff, right? Like, do we share the same values? Do we?
That was on FaceTime.
We talked about that before we met in person.
That's awesome. And it wasn't weird. It wasn't awkward. It was just like
no.
Hey,
I guess that's how I knew she was actually different. Is like it wasn't. I didn't struggle to bring any of that up with her, and it was easy to talk about. It didn't hurt that we were also in total agreement on like 99.99% of things.
Right.
So,
hi, I'm Tahir. What are your opinions on birth control?
Lame.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say one thing that like I didn't even. I mean, obviously I wasn't Catholic then, and I had decided from my own just experiences. I'm like, we are gonna be chaste this entire time. That's just stuff is off the table.
Right.
And that I never found anybody who would say yes to that or be like, think that's cool.
Right.
Like, oh yeah, sure. Of course. Like, it has to be.
I think it's Jason Everett or one of those guys, and they've got a great quote about not dating somebody who's willing to wait, right? In terms of sexual stuff, right? And he said, you shouldn't date somebody who's willing to wait. You should date somebody who wants to wait.
Yeah.
Who's not saying, I'm going to do this for you. I understand your values and don't worry, I won't pressure you. Because what that means is I'm going to constantly be standing in the wings, waiting for a moment of weakness, and I'm going to swoop in and I'm going to take advantage of this very human, good, like desires that we have. And it's going to break us in a way. Right. Eli, you dated your girlfriend, your fiance for a long time.
Long time.
How was that?
Oh boy. It's been interesting. I've been engaged longer than y'all have been dating, which in itself is weird. I don't even know where we're on 5 or 6 years, maybe. I started dating her junior year of high school. And we've just been going. And it's one of those weird things where it's like people always tell me stuff like, oh, you've been dating for so long, all this and that. But I think it also helped because how do I word this? In a sense, like grown with each other, like naturally almost, it wasn't like this shock value or something where it's like, not the go down y'all, but like what you're saying is like you were looking for someone. It's like, we in a sense almost grew up with each other or matured with each other to the point where it's like, yeah, well, of course, it's not like you're, hinging through people. It's like, no.
That's so beautiful.
But I think it was what was correct for me. I'm not necessarily even advising it, but like, it was definitely what was correct for me. So it's been ups and downs.
Sure.
Because it's been humans. 5 or 6 years, Right. We've had better, I can put it into terms. We've had better years and worse years at this point. Right. But so I'm ready to get married. At this point, I'm just like, I want sacramental graces. That's it. Totally. That's what I want.
So I want to talk a little more because there's something that we haven't covered, but it's been brought up in the last couple of episodes we've done on marriage about the dating app world and what that's like. And I don't want to hear about your beautiful, awesome story. Like, what was that? Because I've said this before on the show. I haven't had a new girlfriend since I was 19, right? I married, I met the love of my life when I was 19 years old and have not looked back since then. And I don't even understand the concept of dating now. Like, if my wife, God forbid, died tomorrow, I have no idea what I would do. I think I would go try to join a Byzantine seminary or something because they might let me in with all these kids, right? I have no idea what that looks like. So what does that look like?
Not great, to be honest.
Right.
It's I'll put it from the man's perspective. It's easy for women, but it's not actually easy because if you're a Christian and you like want to maintain at least maybe more than 50% like actual Christian morals, you're gonna have a very horribly difficult time finding somebody online. Because I mean, really, most of these dating apps, people really use them to
hook up, apps.
To find like a free prostitute, essentially. And like, so it honestly, like, I don't want to say it totally feels dirty, but there's something weird about, I mean, I don't regret, like, I met my wife this way. But there's just something very odd about, like, you're on your phone and you're just pressing, like, yes or no, and you're
talk about objectification,
yeah, like literally,
of people, right?
You're seeing like their face, and then like a few small details about a person, and filtering through them, like yes and or no, like with making a quick judgment on, is this person like worth me going out of my way in my busy life?
Is that why you put divine liturgy in there?
Yeah, because that way I knew that
filters.
Yeah, exactly. It reduced the numbers of matches that I get, but the quality that you do get when you're just like upfront, like, hey, this is what I'm looking for, and don't waste my time if you're not on board with this.
Right.
No,
that's killer.
It's a good filter.
So I do a lot of work with a high school and with interview processes with new families, and I found a great way to do it. And this is tangentially related, but similar. In those interviews, I spend about 45 minutes throwing all the uncomfortable things at them to say, like, if you're going to, like, if you're not about this, then that's fine. That's okay. Like, I don't want to give you a bait and switch. So you sit down with me in an interview and we're going to talk about homosexuality, and we're going to talk about pornography, and we're going to talk about birth control, not with the kids, but with the parents. Right. And we're going to go through all of these things to say, like, hey, here's where we stand on these really important things. And it's not politically correct and it's not popular. Take it or leave it. It's okay if you don't want this to go any further. And I feel like you almost have to set up filters to make it really obvious where you stand on things, to kind of scare away the ones worth scaring away.
I obviously don't have experience with this, but a lot of my buddies, they do the same thing in that regard, actually, where they're just like, I mean, Grant, also, they're kind of picking from a very Catholic college woman, kind of thing. But like, they'll just be like, Catholic, I believe this, I believe this, I believe this. And he, like my roommate was like, it filters out.
Does it work?
It does.
I mean, do they still get matches that are?
They do. And then, but, delete. That's not going to fly. But, it finds the people you're also looking for, in a sense,
right.
When you make it very clear in your bio what you're about.
No, I think that's great advice. So we are already at time. It is amazing how quickly these things go through. To close out, this is pretty rapid fire, just a quick answer one way or the other. Producer Ben is not engaged and he is not married. If you had to give one piece of advice to producer Ben, who is still a single man out in the world, not a single man, he's in a relationship, but he's not engaged, he's not married. Right. What would that advice be to producer Ben? And you have to say producer Ben and then give him your response.
It is my legal name.
And we'll start with Savannah.
Producer Ben. Don't go out of your way. It'll happen at the right time. The Lord works. Just lean on him.
Maybe he's already working, Ben.
It's a good piece of advice.
Yeah.
All right, producer Ben, nice. I will say, pray, fast, give alms, and understand that. So there's when you know, like you actually do know, when you know is actually true. And I'll leave it at that.
All right, I like that.
Cool.
Don't overthink.
Yeah. Producer Ben, have you thought about monastic life at all? Like, that just, now, but honestly, just prayer. If you are dating someone, go in front of the Lord with her. I think that really helps. And, it kind of brings out that if you know situation.
Absolutely.
That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much for coming on. I can't believe we're already at time, but we appreciate you being here. Yes, everybody listening, watching at home, thank you for being here. You're listening to 1160 AM The Quest, Atlanta's Catholic radio. This is Honest to God. Thank you so much.